What did you make of Chelsea today, Stevie?
Well, the only thing I can think of is that Frank didn't react after, 15, 20 minutes when City completely were destroying them. In my opinion, the one thing he probably could have done, and I thought was clear, was you have to bring everybody in tighter and make them go round the outside, because quite frankly, they were having their way with them. They were going through the middle, running in behind. I mean, you name it. So had he at least done that, brought the full-backs in particular, and said, OK, come round the outside, then everybody would have been able to at least try and deal with what City were throwing at them. But Frank didn't react, did absolutely nothing, and the game just by 3-0 was completely gone.
He talks about the players being shell-shocked. Was he shell-shocked?
Absolutely. I'm not sure at all what Frank Lampard was thinking coming into this game by matching up Manchester City in terms of their formation. Both Giroud and Tammy Abraham on the bench. And you go with a false nine as you knew City would do, given the fact that Gabriel Jesus continues to struggle in the absence of Kun Aguero, who's just can't shake his own injury worries. And you allow City to play their game. You are at home trying to beat City playing their game. And despite all the struggles that we've seen from City and some of their early season inconsistencies, we've always known that City have incredibly talented players. That when it clicked, they would beat you badly, can beat you badly. Now, on the face of it, to Jürgen's point, history will show a 3-1 City win, and that mightn't look so bad. But the truth is, when you're Chelsea and you're in the kind of spell that you are, and it really could have been 5 at the half, as TV was saying, and you're under pressure and you're looking for a response, that is not what you hope for. This game, this opponent and this performance does nothing but drain the confidence of Chelsea even further. Now, they have a big few weeks to come, and maybe they can get results and turn things around. And the one thing we've seen this season is you put together 3 or 4 decent weeks, all of a sudden you're back in the top 4 reckoning, and the conversations change. But right now, Frank Lampard cannot be sitting comfortably, because this is as bad a position has been in, given the money he spent and given how poor Chelsea have been, not just today, but in the weeks leading up to this.
How uncomfortably should he be sitting, Gab?
Well, there's reports out here already in England that his position is under review by the club and whatever else. Personally, from what I've been told, I wouldn't put too much stock into it. I mean, when you spend as much as Chelsea have spent this past summer, your position as a Chelsea manager will always be under review. That's just the nature of the job. I think from the club's perspective, certainly going into this game, when they were aware that they were on a poor run, their attitude was, we believe in Frank Lampard. We're not going to make a change unless things go really, really badly off the boil, unless we believe that, we're in serious danger of not finishing top 4 or something like that. When you look at where they are in the table now, as Shaka just said, a couple results can go and change that. So I don't think his job is in jeopardy, but I think there's certainly an awareness of some of the choices he made this year, some of the mixing and matching, changing formation, changing personnel. It's taken him a while to get kind of the setup that he wants. And then, of course, he goes and he changes it for this game by leaving out Abraham and or Giroud. I think more questions will be asked. And I think Lampard himself acknowledged that after the game, that he's going to look back and see where they can do better.
Could a more experienced manager, a Thomas Tuchel or Allegri, of course, who are already being linked to this job, Stevie, could they do a better job with these players?
I'm not so sure. I would suggest that today, those names that you threw at me there would have made some changes midway through the first half. I don't think Frank Lampard should lose his job, but I will accept that today I think his inexperience shone in the first half when he basically sat in his hands and did nothing.
Jürgen, what's it like when you're a manager, obviously when you're a coach of Bayern, what is it like to be under that sort of pressure? And how do you deal with it day to day? How do you get out of bed? How do you not just want to hide away from all the press and all the criticism and all the abuse from the fans? Because no matter what you say, you must be aware of it.
Oh, you're always aware of, obviously, the pressure, the expectations, the media attention. It is just part of your life. It's a lifestyle that you chose, and probably 80% of your salary goes towards the criticism that you can receive from everyone, especially after you make some mistakes. And managers, coaches make mistakes the same way players make mistakes. It's just normal. I mean, Frank will look back at that game against Man City maybe in a couple of weeks' time and think through it again and say, okay, I could have made maybe this change or that change. I mean, it's a whole team that is in a transition. It's a whole team that is looking for leadership now. It's looking for somebody that kind of, after the, as Stevie mentioned, after the second goal, that maybe, calls the guys together and says, okay, guys, now let's not concede a third one. Let's calm down a second, maybe go down into the locker room at halftime with 2-0 down instead of 3-0. But this is a normal learning curve. Everyone goes through. Andrea Pirlo goes through that process at Juventus, and so does Frank Lampard, so does Stevie Gerrard at Glasgow Rangers. So when you go into management, this is just part of your growth, But that growth will never end. You can be 60, 70 years of age, and I had a fantastic coach at one point at Sampdoria Genoa, Cesar Luis Menotti, obviously World Cup winning coach with Argentina in '78. And he told me at that time, he was already 70, he said, Jürgen, I constantly learn. I'm just learning, and I make mistakes week in, week out. So that's just part of it. And I think, in certain moments, you just kind of have to step back a second, have to look at it from the outside. You have to admit when you make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with it. If Frank says, I should have done this or that, probably. But then you got to move on. You got to move on because there's the next game coming up, and especially in this time period over Christmas, New Year's, and they go every 3-4 days, so you don't have that much time to think about it, and just move on and go into the next one and learn, keep learning.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.